Yep, you're right. I set my external hard drive on fire. In today's video, I am going to be reviewing a disaster-proof hard drive enclosure from a company called ioSafe. One of the greatest fears I have is losing a house fire and losing everything in it. Physical things can be replaced, but photos cannot be replaced. I'm thinking of all the photos from my childhood with my family growing up, getting married, having my own kids and taking pictures of them, and all the family trips we've done, and some of my photography work that I've done on the side. Like the thought of losing those in the fire and not being able to recover from them worries me and scares me sometimes. As I was researching options to back up my pictures, I came across really two options. One is to locally store them in your house through a USB external hard drive or a network attached storage drive, or you could load them up into the cloud. For me personally, I'm just not comfortable loading up 2 terabytes worth of my pictures into a cloud. I haven't really looked into all those services. I have to do some more investigation, but I just right now don't feel comfortable loading all those pictures up in the cloud. And I believe the price is pretty expensive to load 2 terabytes worth of pictures up on there as well. So I decided to purchase the Solo G3 desktop external storage hard drive. It is fireproof, waterproofed, and theft-proofed. And it comes pre-configured in a 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, or 6 terabyte size. So I opted to purchase the 4 terabyte size. And the supported operating system does Windows 10 and 8.1, Mac OS, and Red Hat Enterprise, Linux, and Ubuntu. Here's the product dimensions on the left-hand side here. The product weight, I have to say, it's 15 pounds. I chose this model because it's fanless, and it does leave quite a big footprint. In terms of disaster proof, the fire protection rating is up to 1550 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And the water protection is IP68, fully submersed, fresh or salt water, 10-foot depth, up to 72 hours. And I figured these two scenarios I think would be good enough for my in-home use. Just recapping the features, it's built for fire, flood-proof, fireproof, river-proof. It's peaceful on desktop because this is a fan-free design, and it's a reliable backup solution. So in terms of accessories that comes in the box was the USB 3 cable and the AC adapter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up on my desktop, and I'm going to show you how I am going to back up my files using this unit. Here I am just setting it up next to my PC. Just make sure you have space for this unit as it does have a very large footprint. In terms of setup, under disk management, I can see the hard drive does come pre-formatted into NTFS and is labeled ioSafe. ioSafe doesn't tell you what kind of hard drive you'll be getting when you purchase the enclosure. So I had no idea what the manufacturer was or even what the speed of the hard drive was. It doesn't give you the option to choose. So I loaded up hardware info, and the model that gave me belongs to Seagate. This one is a 3.8 gigabyte of usable space. It has an RPM of around 5400. So the hard drive is a Seagate Barracuda, which is the exact same model I have already installed on my desktops. I decided to set my external hard drive on fire to prove its claim. I borrowed a FLIR imaging infrared thermometer, and for safety reasons, I obviously did this outside. The temperature outside was around -5 degrees Celsius or 23 degrees Fahrenheit for my American friends. Before I set it on fire, I wanted to get a base temperature of what the enclosure was. You can see the surface temperature of the enclosure is about 13 degrees Celsius or 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I used a fire starter block, and my son was super excited to light it on fire. So the fire rating for the Solo G3 was up to 1550 degrees Fahrenheit for 842 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. So I'm going to present some stats, and I'll list the sources in the description below. In a typical house fire, within 3.5 minutes, the temperature can reach up to 1100 Fahrenheit or 594 degrees Celsius, which is well under the rated 1550 degrees Celsius for the ioSafe. I decided to do a temperature reading within 2 minutes. The flame was registering around 30 degrees Celsius, and the surface away from the flame was still around 13 degrees Celsius. As I was doing this video, I decided to do some research and get some stats on house fires. So all the sources for my information presented in this video will be listed in the description below if you want to read it for yourself. So the odds of house fires within Canada approximately each year is 24,000 house fires. So after 10 minutes, I decided to do a reading. The highest is 323.7 degrees Celsius, and you can see it's consistently seeing around 250 degrees Celsius. Top 5 causes of house fires. The first one is unattended cooking. So if you're not paying attention, you fall asleep or take a nap and you have something cooking on the stove. Number 2 is space heaters and chimneys. This is very applicable to people living in Canada, such as myself. I have 2 space heaters I use during the winter. 3 is cigarettes and smoking, not carefully putting them out. Number 4 is electrical and lighting equipment, and number 5 is candles. So after 25 minutes, I decided to take another reading and got to around 397.4 degrees Celsius. And so I was kind of panning out to see how hot outside the flame got. So as I move out towards the green, you can see it's around, the surface is around 28.4 degrees Celsius. So I decided to let it burn for 30 minutes. Obviously, the temperature does not raise past over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The highest I got was around 450 degrees Celsius. So after 30 minutes, I put some snow, and I decided to douse it with snow to put out the flame. Here's a closer look at the fire damage. And as you can see, it's very, very minor. There's some blemish and discoloration from the fire. The powder coat lost some of its gray paint. It started to peel a bit, but there's no bubble, there's no crack, there's nothing wrong in terms of the structural integrity of the USB enclosure. Okay, so that concludes my video of the Solo G3 Fireproof Waterproof External USB 3 hard drive. I'm very happy with this purchase. I have some peace of mind knowing that all my pictures are being automatically backed up on this solution. Stay tuned to my next video where I show you how I automatically back up all of my pictures and sync it to my USB hard drive 3 using the Windows storage feature, which acts like a RAID machine. So it copies one disk to the next disk. So stay tuned for that, and I'll show you how to use the Windows feature for that. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. I will love to answer your questions. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time. Yep, I lit my... Yep, that's right. I lit my external hard drive on fire. So when I was researching ways to